Hey there, what's going on guys? I'm Dr. P. Welcome back today for another video. Now in this one guys, we have a ton of information to go over. We're going to talk about the earthquake event that is speculated to be happening very soon. We're going to talk about a whole bunch of other stuff too, so definitely make sure you're sticking around all the way until the end of this video. Make sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and use my supported creator code in-game. It's Pineapplez YT, and if you send me a screenshot proving that you support me, I'll get you on a video just like these guys. Additionally, now all the way through February 22nd, if you put in any creator code, including mine, wink wink, you will get some free stuff, some free wraps for weapons and vehicles. So, you know, putting my code in is kind of a win-win, and of course, I'd really appreciate it. So, as you guys know, it looks like there's going to be an earthquake event in the game. I've talked about this in a couple videos, and I'm sure you've seen other people on social media talking all about it. It's gonna be, or is supposed to be, an extremely big event that could happen at any point now. I mean, earthquake tremors are already happening and have been happening for some time. That kind of reminds me of when we saw the meteors in Season 3 coming down before the big one actually did to start Season 4. This isn't the first time they've done something like this, leading up to an insanely huge game-altering event. Now, the earthquake stuff, that's pretty common knowledge. Almost everyone knows about the earthquakes at this point if you keep up with the game, but something that goes over a lot of people's heads at this point is the fact that there could very likely be volcanic activity on the island or very nearby. It's yet to be seen how it could affect the island specifically. The reason we think there's a good chance of volcanic activity is if you look at the Week 10 loading screen for Season 7 and look out into the distance, there is a wide gap where there should be a big mountain that's currently in the game. So that suggests something is going to happen to that specific area of the map. Otherwise, they wouldn't have specifically pointed that detail out to us in the loading screen. At least, that's what I think, and that's my thought process. As you can see right here, the mountain does exist. If you go and look in the game in that general direction, you'll see it is indeed there. It's massive. There's even a mysterious light out there that's been recently turned on. There's speculations it could be some kind of a fire beacon, relaying some kind of message to the prisoner. And, you know, that could make sense. The prisoner is the one character in the game who is most closely tied to all these activities, seeing as the moment he escaped, they started happening and the snow started melting. It would be fair to assume that he's up to something. A while back, Donald Mustard took a vacation, and he actually was saying it inspired him for a lot of things to come in future Fortnite seasons. He then tweeted this picture. Now, it looks as if there's some giant land piece that's broken apart. Is there any way this could be a hint or foreshadowing anything at all about the future of the Fortnite map post-earthquake event? Because remember, the earthquake event has a very specific part of the event called Sinkhole. It's in the game's files. It seems like an earthquake would be the perfect scenario to actually do some serious damage of this caliber, maybe crack the island up super seriously, maybe send some parts of it out to sea, make the island just a bunch of smaller islands instead of just one. There are a ton of things they could do with this earthquake, and a lot of things that could possibly happen because of it. Regardless though, I really feel like based on all the information I've shown in the video up to this point, and based on just knowing Epic Games and how they do things, I would really expect a serious map shakeup for the coming season. Get ready, because it could be something completely different. Like, it's definitely a possibility. We've been playing on this map for 6.5+ seasons, almost 7, and we've been playing on the base map. Yeah, they've made some serious changes, but at the end of the day, it's still basically the same thing as a whole, especially more so once all the snow melts in a few weeks. And I've always wondered if Epic Games would take the route of making a new map and branching out. Other Battle Royale games have had success doing that, but maybe Fortnite doesn't need to do that. Maybe they can whip up their own recipe. But I will say this, I know a lot of you guys have heard of the game Apex Legends. It's really popular right now and obviously is competing with Fortnite. Fortnite is in no danger of dying out because of that, but I know they want to be a little bit more competitive and make some crazy things happen to draw some players back. That's exactly what either a new map or an extremely remade map, you know, with all the places scattered up, I could just see it. It could be awesome, the things they could do with the map to change it up, because I think there does need to be a serious revamp, if not a new map completely. I want to log on the first day of Season 8 and just see so many new places to explore, so many new things to do, and that's usually the way it is. I mean, back in Season 5, they introduced the desert biome, that was awesome, and then this season they introduced the snow biome, which is awesome. Doesn't look like that's going to be permanent, but nonetheless, still really awesome in the time we had it. So just to briefly recap, it looks like we're going to have an earthquake and possibly even volcanic activity. The earthquake is guaranteed, like that is confirmed. The volcano is very likely based on what we've seen in the loading screens. I wonder what an erupting volcano could do to threaten the island. I know, obviously, in real life there would be implications with soot coming out of the air and falling down, kind of like what happened to Pompeii. Wow, what a throwback. But because it's an island, I don't know if lava would actually travel over. It would have to be a pretty forceful blast. Regardless, though, we will find out soon enough. In the comments, let me know your best guesses, your theories for what you think is going to happen. I've laid out a good bit of the information. I would love to see what you guys think. Aside from the earthquake and volcano stuff for this season, we still have a couple other storylines to follow, such as the dragon eggs that are still sitting there in the dungeon of Polar Peak, as well as the flood theory and the aquatic themes that have constantly been coming up and we think are hints for the next season. The basis for the flood theory is simple. Whenever the snow melts, because we know it's going to, or at least it's most likely going to, there would be kind of a flash flood scenario just because there would be such an influx of water and very limited places to go. If you remember, back when Season 7 started, one of the places that we lost was Greasy Grove. I loved Greasy. It was one of my favorite landing spots in the entire game, and I was personally really attacked. I felt personally attacked when they took it away from me. That was my baby. I loved to land there. Really unfortunate they took it away. But if you remember, it's still technically in the game, it's just frozen underwater. If the area starts to heat up and starts to melt, naturally, wouldn't that just mean Greasy Grove would not be frozen anymore and it would just be a giant lake? Where you could possibly even dive into the water, and that could be what all the aquatic hints could have been leading up to the whole time. Let's not also forget all the snow in the surrounding area that could pile in to make it even a bigger water accumulation, as well as the huge iceberg at Polar Peak, which is directly above it and would also supply a massive amount of water once the snow melts. Geographically, this makes a ton of sense with the positioning of everything in the Fortnite game. I ran across an extremely interesting post on Reddit by user ModdedYT, and he basically laid out what I said exactly and even goes into bigger detail about what could happen. He starts out by talking a lot about what I said with Greasy melting and turning into a lake, and said they will introduce a new mechanism allowing us to dive inside the lake in order to loot the houses. But also this feature will have a breath limit. If you reached it, you will start taking 1 damage per second, so you have to go up and take a breath and then dive in again. Building and shooting underwater would be disabled, and if you are outside the water, you can't hit someone if he is inside the water. That's a very controversial thing, I feel like, whether or not you should be able to hit someone when they're in the water and you're outside. And also shooting underwater could be disabled. I don't know about that either. I feel like it would be really fun to go inside water and just be, in a completely different surroundings with different physics and everything, and just have to shoot people. That would be really fun. Maybe I could understand building being disabled, but I would definitely want to be able to shoot my gun, if at all possible, underwater. That could be just as fun as having a dogfight with a plane. This idea could bring back Greasy. Not, in the same way we knew before, but at least being able to go and loot these houses with a new system of being underwater. I feel like that could be amazing. Obviously you would be really vulnerable if you were to go in the lake, so I feel like they would need to make the loot there, really good. Of course, take everything I said in this video with a grain of salt. It's all speculation, it's all me looking at the facts, drawing conclusions based on that. As we know, Epic Games loves to tease stuff like this. Guys, Season 8 is upon us in a little over 2.5 weeks. It's almost here, and there's got to be a ton of stuff that goes down still in Season 7 before we can even dive into all the good stuff for Season 8. I'm really excited about it. There's a ton of stuff going on between the dragons, the Ice King, the prisoner, the earthquakes, the volcanoes, the floods. Everything is going on right now at such a crazy pace. You're definitely going to want to be subscribed to the channel, and if you really want to see videos, make sure you turn on those notifications, because sometimes sending videos to sub boxes can be kind of wonky and you might miss something, but notifications on should guarantee that you catch everything. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you in another video of mine very soon, and until that point, guys, take it easy and peace out.